If you look at the history of Islam, you'll often hear it described as a tree with two primary branches, Sunni and Shia. For centuries, the world has focused on the point where those branches diverged. But today, we aren't looking at the split. We're looking at the trunk. Picture this. Millions of people gathered in Mecca for the Hajj, standing shoulder to shoulder, moving in unison, reciting the same words. Now ask yourself, can you tell who is Sunni and who is Shia? To an outside observer, the answer is simple. You can't. Because while a 7th century succession crisis created two different legal and political traditions, the vast majority of Islamic theology, roughly 90% of it, is identical. They bow in the same direction. They recite the same verses. They fast during the same sacred month called Ramadan. And yet, these two traditions are often spoken about in terms of division. But here's the reality. While much attention is given to historical differences, the vast majority of Islamic belief, nearly everything at its core, is shared. So in this video, we shift the focus, not to what separates, but to what unites. Because to truly understand Islam, we must look beyond differences and explore its shared foundation and similarities that hold this faith together. Similarity 1. Belief in one God, Tawhid. At the heart of both Sunni and Shia Islam lies a single uncompromising idea, Tawhid, the absolute oneness of God. There is no division here, no debate, no variation. Both traditions affirm that God is one, unique, eternal, and without partners, the creator of everything, the sustainer of all existence, the ultimate judge of human actions. God is not part of the universe depends on God. In some religions, schisms happen because of disagreements over the nature of the divine, but in Islam there is no such divide. Whether you are in a Sunni mosque in Cairo or a Shia mosque in Najaf, the core message is the same. God is one, unique, without partners. Both traditions rely on the 99 names of Allah to describe a creator who is both the ultimate judge and the source of infinite mercy. This isn't just a shared theological point. It is the force that keeps both branches in the same orbit. To understand Islam begins here, because everything else, law, ethics, worship, flows from this single unifying belief. Similarity 2. The Qur'an. If Tawhid is the foundation, then the Qur'an is the shared voice that expresses it. Both Sunni and Shia Muslims accept the Qur'an as the final revelation, the literal word of God revealed to Prophet Muhammad. Its language is the same, its structure is the same, its message is the same. From a mosque in Cairo to one in Najaf, the verses are recited in the same classical Arabic. There is no alternative version, no competing text. Despite centuries of historical development, the Qur'an remains a single unifying source, a shared reference point that anchors both traditions. Similarity 3. Prophet Muhammad. At the center of Islamic life stands one figure, Prophet Muhammad. Both Sunni and Shia Muslims recognize him as the final prophet, the seal of prophethood, the ultimate example of human character. His life, his actions, his words, his decisions forms the blueprint for how Muslims understand morality, law, and spirituality. This is what is known as the Sunnah. And while interpretations may vary in detail, the role of the prophet as a model for human life remains unchanged. In both traditions, his example is not just remembered, it is lived. Similarity 4. The 5 pillars of Islam. Beyond belief, Islam is a religion of practice. And here, again, both traditions stand on the same structure. the 5 pillars of Islam. First, the Shahada, which is the declaration of faith. They both testify to the same faith. There is no God but Allah, and Muhammad is his messenger. Then there is Salah, the 5 daily prayers. The same goes for Zakat, charity to the poor, Saum, fasting during Ramadan, and Mahaj, the pilgrimage to Mecca. These are not symbolic acts, they are lived commitments. Yes, there may be small differences in how certain rituals are performed, such as the positioning of hands during prayer, but the obligations themselves remain identical. They are performing the same prostrations to the same Creator. The rhythm of religious life, from daily prayer to annual fasting, is shared. Similarity 5. Beliefs about the afterlife. Both Sunni and Shia Islam share a powerful vision of human destiny. Life, in this view, is not random. It is a test, a temporary stage before something greater. Both traditions affirm a day of judgment, the resurrection of all people, accountability for every action, and beyond that, paradise and hell. These are not abstract ideas. They shape how life is lived in the present, because every action carries weight, every decision carries meaning. In both traditions, morality is not optional, it is essential. Similarity 6. Ethical teachings. From this belief in accountability emerges a shared moral framework: justice, compassion, honesty, charity, responsibility toward others. These are not simply encouraged, they are required. Helping the poor is not just generosity, it is an obligation. Speaking truth is not just virtue, it is duty. In both Sunni and Shia Islam, faith is not measured only by belief, but by how one lives. Because in Islam, ethics are not separate from religion, they are its expression. Similarity 7. Hadith and scholarship. While the Qur'an is central, it is not the only source of guidance. Both traditions rely on hadith, records of the Prophet's words and actions, and scholars who interpret these teachings over time. Yes, the collections of hadith may differ. Yes, certain interpretations may vary. But the principle remains the same. Understanding religion requires knowledge, study, and reflection. In both Sunni and Shia Islam, scholarship is not optional, it is essential. Faith is not only inherited, it is also examined. Similarity 8. Worship and community life. Islam is not only practiced individually, it is lived collectively. Across both traditions, mosques serve as places of prayer, centers of learning, spaces for community. Every Friday, Muslims gather for congregational prayer. They listen, they reflect, they connect. Beyond rituals, this shared life builds something deeper, a sense of belonging, a shared identity that goes beyond differences. When we step back and look at the bigger picture, a clear pattern emerges. One God, one Qur'an, one final prophet, one moral vision. Yes, differences exist, but they exist within a much larger framework of unity. And perhaps that is the deeper lesson, that what unites people is often far greater than what divides them. To understand Sunni and Shia Islam is not only to study differences, but to recognize a shared foundation that has endured for centuries. Religion is often complex, but sometimes the most powerful truths are the simplest ones. So, here's a question to reflect on. Which similarity stood out to you the most? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoy exploring the intersection of religion, philosophy, and history, consider subscribing for more content like this. Because sometimes understanding what people share can be just as important as understanding what makes them different.